hard. What's up guys, welcome to the channel. This is MotionAutoTv and I am Trevor. I felt the need to introduce myself because in the last 24 hours I've gained 15,000 subscribers and the super restoration like 10-minute time-lapse video is over 1.7 million views, and that's just insane. That video's only been up 3 days. Project took us about 2 years, and you know, lots of like waiting time, like it's sitting in the edge of the shop just kind of not doing anything. For all of you guys who have kind of came over because of that video and started watching that video, I really appreciate it. In the last couple of videos you guys have seen us started painting the Boostedboiz MR2. So I'm kind of getting carried away with this thing. Started tearing apart everything on this thing last night, or got everything torn apart on it last night, and now I'm just starting to look at it and I want to do a couple more things. In the super video you've seen, obviously that thing didn't have like any glass in it when we got it, no weather stripping, like nothing. It just was missing everything. Whereas this was a complete car. So normally when you paint cars, like if you just take it to a body shop for like a quick respray, they'll pretty much do this. So they'll kind of mask off like the quarter windows, they'll mask off, you know, the trim and all that other type of stuff. And then when you kind of get up here to the windshield, you kind of have this, well, what do you do about this? So, because under here, like you could peel back this rubber and kind of tape it. You could kind of peel it back and tape it back so that the paint actually gets under there, so you don't have like this weird kind of lip of paint right there, which I don't like. Other thing is when you start doing this stuff with the quarter windows, when you start looking at the edge right here, it's just, I think this car actually has been repainted before, or at least pieces of it have. But the thing that I don't like if the gap was like this, it wouldn't be a big deal because we could basically just tape around that edge and the paint would go down in there and we'd have a nice edge. We ain't gonna have like a weird lip. But you could see like right here, like how that clear coat is kind of flaking off just because of that little edge. Is it kind of bridges the gap and then this stuff moves and then it cracks the clear coat. I'm probably gonna pull this piece off, gonna pull the quarter windows, and probably gonna pull the windshield. And I initially wasn't gonna pull the windshield just because I was gonna do the tape method where you just kind of peel it back and get away with that. But there is this weird little dent right here. I don't know, obviously like it didn't crack the windshield, but you could see that something hit it and there is definitely a dent. Maybe the windshield does look like it has been replaced, so maybe that's why the windshield got replaced. But they just didn't fix the dent. So we'll pull the windshield out of this thing, fix that little dent, and then we'll just have really, really nice lines, so that way you don't have a bunch of ugly stuff. And I have a car outside that I'll show you an example of, like what this thing could potentially look like, let's say 15 years down the road if we didn't pull out the quarter windows. So this is a car outside that I've had that was painted by somebody else probably like 15 years ago or 10 years ago. You can see kind of a similar thing. Right up here on this gap is nice and big, and then as soon as you get right here, you get this really weird kind of paint line, and I just don't like that. And then you can see down here where it kind of chips up and goes straight down to the primer and stuff underneath, and I don't know, I get picky. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and get these quarter windows removed. Supposedly you basically just remove the plastic trim on the inside. There's like 3 or 4 bolts. You pull out this little piece of trim right here, and then it's not like hard glued in, like with like a hard like polyurethane type of glue. It's kind of just in there with like goo. So it's kind of almost like a putty, or just like it should be soft, and it should, like when we pull it out, it should, like big old strings of it should come out. But we should be able to get the quarter windows out, and then I'll actually have a glass guy come over and pull the windshield out. That's why you can bring it back. All right, guys, so it is Tuesday night. Yesterday was Monday, Labor Day, so I took off the day, so I didn't get anything done on this thing down here then. But so got down here, been down here for a couple hours, kind of sanding on some stuff, doing some more body work. So went ahead, there's little ding, little hail damage stuff on the hood, 2 little dings right here, 2 little bitty guys right there. Like a little squiggle in the bodywork right here, but I was able to block that out kind of with just using the actual factory paint on it as kind of like a guide coat, or as a kind of a primer to kind of level some stuff out. A little thing there and there. There's a little crease right here and a little ding, a couple little things like that. I don't think there's anything really too major on the roof right here. As I was saying in the last video about kind of having those little gaps, or previously in this video about kind of having these little weird gaps right here, you could see where they didn't remove the quarter windows when they repainted this car. And so this car is actually factory single stage. So if you look on the trunk, all this stuff is single stage, so you could actually kind of buff it out. Whereas the car has actually been, most of the car has been repainted with a base clear coat. So you can see it's all kind of starting to peel up on the edge, like I said, because you can't really sand down underneath that, so you don't get that nice clear coat to kind of seal in everything. And then obviously like the quarter windows are kind of in there with like rubber, so they kind of squiggle and stuff over time. A little bit of that clear coat is kind of fading off, and there's always that little edge. So if I would have just left the windows in here and kept, I guess I would have just made it worse, I guess, eventually. Like it just wouldn't have looked that nice. So, so I went ahead and did that. Ty got this little back window cover off earlier today. And one of the things, so when I was doing the Supra, if you guys watched the 10-minute Supra build, basically what I did, took a 36 grit sandpaper disc, put it on basically the buffing wheel, and just took it down to bare metal. And that's almost what I'm ready to do with this thing. Since it is kind of a different clear coat than factory, it's super thick in certain spots and then, you know, thin in other spots. So there's no clear coat on here. This is just the base coat, and then this is the clear, but it's just super hard, and it's a real pain to actually get off. So I was using 220, or I'm using 220 grit discs on certain parts and then 80 grit on other ones. And it's just killing them, like wiping them out pretty quick. You can see all this stuff right here. I got that whole side done in 220. Right here, I'm probably gonna do the same thing with 220. I was just kind of scratching a little bit with 80 grit, just to kind of tear it up a little bit. Definitely a pain in the butt. This thing kind of has escalated quickly, and I almost forgot how much I hate, how much I love painting cars. So yeah, I'm gonna keep kind of working away on this thing, just lots and lots of sanding. I mean, there's really nothing you could do other than just put on the freaking headphones and just sand on it for hours, and then eventually you could get to where you could prime it. So all right, guys, so Ty has actually been working on this thing quite a bit today. I had some errands to do in town, and some of you guys are going to be a little bit sad, but I'm actually selling a vehicle that was a highly anticipated build. I'm not going to tell you which one it was. Maybe you guys will see it missing in the background eventually, but I did sell one of the project things that a lot of people have been bugging me about for a little while, but I wasn't going to take the time to do it. So I did pick up some paint today at D&S Paint Center. This is actually a little bit different red than what actually comes on this car. So this car is crimson red, which is the same as super red, which this is super red that I got, but it's super red too. There's like 300 different variations of like pigments and tones of super red, but this one, it's a lot cleaner, and it's gonna be more of like that vibrant, like kind of fire truck red, versus this I feel like is kind of, it's crimson. Like I don't know. It's like
a more burgundy tint, in my opinion.
Yeah, and like, so Eric, when we were mixing it, he was showing me the main color between crimson and what this red is. And like the crimson one, it looked like red mud, and for like the main toner for it. And that's kind of what this car looks like. Is it kind of looks like red mud, and it's just not that pretty. Like it's decent. Like when it buffs out, it's all right and it's shiny. But especially when it gets to this stage, it looks like crap. So the super red is just super vibrant. and just a really nice red. Been kind of going over some of the bodywork on this thing, sanding away this clear coat. It is kind of unfortunate that this car was painted before, and again, kind of how I explained like those lines and stuff right here. You know, factory, it was single stage. They put the clear coat on it, and it's just super thick in some areas and not in other areas. So you can see kind of like this whole thing right here. So we're probably just gonna go ahead and finish sanding off all of the actual clear coat just so we don't have any weird lines or like fading. You can see there was some previous bodywork done right here on this edge that's cracking, so I need to sand that all back down, take that off and kind of redo it. And then one of the other things that kind of sucks is, I mean, we've been working on this thing, I'd say, what do you think, like at least 20 hours.
Probably at least, yeah.
I mean,
we have 3 days solid of tear down, I mean, sanding.
Yeah, I mean, we were here till like 1 o'clock last night. Kind of one of the issues that you have is just rock chips. Rock chips really suck. So you can see all this stuff right there. Like, as soon as we kind of, like, this got filled by the icing, but as soon as you kind of start sanding, then all these like rock chips kind of show up. And then you can see right here, that's where like the clear kind of peeled. You can't paint over that. You can't prime over stuff like this because obviously the sandpaper hasn't touched the inside of that thing, and it's not gonna stick to like a shiny material. So besides like sandblasting this thing or, you know, like 36 gritting it on like a flapper disc like I did on the Supra, I don't wanna take this thing all the way down to the bare metal and just kind of start fresh because that's just kind of a pain. So we just gotta kind of deal with this and just kind of sand this stuff out, kind of feather it. I will kind of, you know, fill in some of these little things. And so the initial goal today was to get this whole car in primer, but I'm not sure if we're gonna be able to get it that far. Yeah, I don't know. Kyle told me, you know, he's not expecting like a show car paint job or anything like that, but it's just, a lot of people always ask me like to paint stuff for them, and I'd say this is the exact reason why, is that it's really, really hard for me to let things go and to not make it nice or like do it right. And that's why I get so bummed about painting, just because it like takes so much time to like actually do it right. So we're gonna get back to work on this thing and see how far we can get tonight. I at least want to get some pieces in primer. I want to prime something. It's been too long. All right, so we went ahead and removed the fenders and basically 180'd the whole car, went around all of the edges, around here, around there, the top, kind of the bottom edges of everything. So if you don't get that stuff, the paint just definitely won't stick, and that's just not good. Also, there was like this black, it wasn't factory. I think they did aftermarket because there was a little bit of filler right there that I found. It looked like they did like a spray-on bed liner type of thing on the lower rocker panel just because it had some issues before. And then back here, it looked like somebody like jacked up the car on both sides and basically pushed in both of those things. So I got that stuff hammered down. It's not perfect. I was talking to Kyle about it, and he said that the kind of the plan is for this car is to actually get the side skirts, like the nice ones with like the little vent in the back, and that'll cover that whole bottom rocker piece. So I'm basically just going to kind of spray it how it is. I'll clean it up a little bit more tomorrow, but spray it how it is, and then he's going to get a set of rockers, and I'll paint them later and throw them on, and I think it'll look a lot better, you know, with that stuff. So again, it's just a lot more work than I thought, but another 2 a.m. night, me and Ty are getting ready to go home, and we're going to come back tomorrow, and the plan is just to get it in primer. So hopefully by the end of this video, something's going to be in primer. We're freaking, something's getting primered.
Have to at this point.
Yep. Hi guys, so things continue to escalate. So had the windshield removed out of here. Ty is sanding down the remaining parts of the body. This was kind of hard to get to sand just because all of this stuff was covered to about right here with that foam thing, and you could see actually where they covered this up previously where there was a little bit of rust, like a little bit of oxidation kind of starting right there. It's not bad at all. It was just kind of weird looking. So yeah, we'll get all this scuffed, and then we're gonna start masking this thing and getting it ready to primer. So this thing it's escalated quickly. This is supposed to be a quick paint job, and now I feel like it's turning into like a little mini restoration on this thing. So yeah, gonna go ahead and finish that. And I mean, honestly, I don't think there's anything to do other than mask it. Like, we're masking it.
Mask it and prime it.
And so tonight we are gonna be laying down some high build primer. Tomorrow's supposed to be a really hot day. We'll let it kind of sit in the sun and bake throughout the day, and then probably tomorrow night we might actually block it down and or maybe on Saturday. So the plan is I'd really like to paint this thing on Saturday, but we'll see how far we get.
There's no denying what we want. There's no denying what we want. There's no denying what we want. Playing games, no. There's no denying what we want. There's no denying what we want. Playing games, no. There's no denying what we want. There's no denying what we want. Playing games, no. There's no denying what we want. There's no denying what we want.
All right guys, so what we have here is a fully primered Boostedboiz MR2. So this thing actually looks really, really nice, and I'm glad we took the extra time and kind of re-bodyworked a lot of little things, and you know, found a lot of little minor dents here and there, and then obviously like pulling the windshield out, pulling the quarter windows out, you know, taking off this whole back little piece like that. Definitely a lot of work. I think it's going to really show in the end product. Fenders and everything all done. Did the front bumper. So I didn't want to have to prime like a jillion things tonight, so you can still see we have like the little back thing that goes around the window. We have like the door handles, the mirrors, the little rear side spats like that. And I convinced Kyle to actually get a different front lip, and then some actual side skirts that kind of go up into the little side vents like that. So I actually ended up fixing this other one. If you guys remember, he was talking about how he was doing donuts in the dirt and actually flicked this whole thing off. So I fixed that whole corner, basically back taped it, did like a Duraglass on the back of it, kind of built it up, shaped it out, and then smoothed it out. So that's all basically OEM spec looking right there. One thing I want to say is if you guys are interested in bodywork or paint or anything like that, I do have a lot of relevant videos where they were a little bit more how-to, a little bit more informative on the Supra. And I will try to link some of those in the description. I know this wasn't really like a how-to or anything like that. It was more like a cinematic, like, hey, check out what we're doing, just because I've done it a couple times before. If you guys are interested in any of the products that I've used in these videos or the past videos and stuff like that, I will put a link to the my Amazon affiliate thing in the description. And I kind of do get a little bit of a kickback if you guys do end up like, let's say, like purchasing like sandpaper or like a Milwaukee drill or, you know, something like that. One of the things that I have been trying out is Milwaukee just came out with these extended reach ratchets, and I thought it would be kind of weird. Like I'm kind of the same thought that you guys are probably thinking right now, is that would be kind of weird, but it's actually like really nice because it, instead of this being in your way, you kind of have more of a normal size ratchet like head to get in spots. So it would almost be nice if this whole thing was just like a little ratchet like that, but obviously you can't do that. Again, link in the description to that stuff. If you guys don't have a Milwaukee ratchet, they're just amazing. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about getting this thing in primer, and that was the goal. Yeah, next video is gonna be wet sanding this thing and getting it ready for paint. Hopefully that doesn't take a whole lot of time. I think my subscribe button has actually been working, so I really, really appreciate that. We've gained over 110,000 subscribers in the last 28 days, which is absolutely amazing. The super video, the 10-minute super video, has like 9.5 million views on it. and that's just insane. So if you guys are new to the channel, I really, really appreciate it. Be sure to leave a comment. Let me know how you think I'm doing. It's just crazy. And we hit 400,000 subscribers too. So that's nuts. Literally less than 20 days ago when I revealed the R8, I was at 290,000 subscribers, and you guys got me to 300 within a couple days. And then from there, this last week, it's literally been 100,000, and I can't appreciate you guys enough. I can't thank you guys enough. I'm gonna quit rambling. It's like 1:30 in the morning. The goal was to get it primed by midnight, and we got it primed by 1 o'clock in the morning. So that's pretty good. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys in a couple days.